So a good thing about this event, about this afternoon, is that there is no goal in this. So it's really not about anything, and it can't be about anything, because what apparently happens, is just this, so to speak, and it's naturally whole and complete. It's everything in that sense. There is no deeper goal or a deeper reality or something like that. It's just this. What apparently happens is just itself, so to speak. That's the natural reality. And any idea, any assumption that this is happening for something, any assumption that there is a deeper reality or an absolute reality or stuff like that, is just coming from a dream. And the dream in that sense would just be I am. The assumption that there is an entity living in this body, which we really are, who we are, that there is something who we are. That's the dream, that's the illusion. And I know when I call it an illusion, it may sound a little bit superficial, like an idea or a concept or something. No, for the person, it really is its sense of existence. That's the dream. For the person, it really feels as if I'm a real entity that is now here, experiencing a real situation. But it's exactly this impression that I'm now here, that there's something real going on, which doesn't have any substance at all. And all the ideas that come out of this impression, like I have an autonomous existence, I'm separate from wholeness, I've lost something, I'm on a path through life, and I'm on a path back to wholeness. This is all part of the dream. It's all the same dream, and it's based on I am, I exist. And also when I say it's a dream, I don't mean that it is something that we now have to work on or get rid of. It basically means that there isn't anyone in the first place. There's just no one here. There is nothing to teach. There's nothing that I could say or give or take away. And there is no one there also who could take something or who needs to get rid of something. That's what's meant when it said that this is all there is, and when it said that this is perfect, whole and complete. It's just this. All there is what apparently happens, and it's naturally fine. There is no possibility of any additional realization. There is no one there who will ever know this, recognize this, arrive in this, who will find this. Does not exist, can't happen. It can't happen because there is no one in the first place. Well, I think that's it already.
I just love it, when you say there's no one here and you laugh.
Yes, that's basically it.
I just join in now, though. I laugh as well with you.
Yes. So,
this is surreal. This is absolutely surreal.
no. Well, yes.
I don't know what to say, I'm speechless.
Yes. Well, me too, in a way. So, yeah.
But wasn't there a time when you came to your first meeting with Tony and you were sat here panicking?
Well, at least there was the impression that I was sitting there. I wasn't panicking really, but...
I'm panicking.
Oh, sorry, Michael is coming.
Oh, no. But I suppose what we're talking... On the one hand, it feels like what we're talking about here is as ordinary as going up to anyone who's not interested in non-duality and talking about something else. But at the same time, that doesn't trigger the anxiety, this triggers in me. So, what's different?
Well, it's just very directly pointed out that there is no one there. And that this I is an illusion. And in the story one could say, apparently, this threatens your whole existence, or the illusion of your existence, of course. Just at the side. Hello.
Michael?
So you have the sofa or a chair?
I'd sit on the chair.
Or the,
But I don't.
There's a chair here. if you want.
there's also another chair. You have free choice.
Too many choices. I'll sit here.
That looks most comfortable.
Yeah, I know.
Andreas, can I say something? I was really
Yes.
hoping I'd get here and you'd be like, it's all a joke, what I was saying on Zoom. This is me in real. Like, this is me in real. I'm a person, you're a person. That stuff on Zoom was...
I'm just joking on Zoom.
You're saying the same thing in here.
No, it's like on Zoom. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Zoom made it a bit more unreal, isn't it? So a bit more,
You
you
think
could just believe that there's no one there.
Yeah.
You turn off your phone or whatever, no one is there.
Yeah, and
But
when
now
I'm,
he's there, you can
and when I'm
touch
having
him.
anxiety, I can easily just like turn the screen off and do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go into the kitchen.
No, I want to wait and see if he changes his mind.
Change
I wanna wait and see if he changes.
No, it's much more fun when he suffers here.
But in the crazy world we live in the moment,
Mm.
is that somehow generated by the sense of I in people? Or is it kind of independent? Is that just going on and people identify with it because they identify with themselves?
Well, in the end, you could say, apparently, you could say both. Because people assuming themselves as someone, and
Yeah.
apparently out of that seems to come all kind of behavior, but that
Yeah.
too just is what apparently happens.
Yeah.
So it's never really generated out of the me.
So it's kind of just rolling on, and the me's think, well, this is going to affect me for better or for worse.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
affecting it, and
Yeah,
it affects me.
Yeah, and I have a choice
exactly.
to do whatever.
And I have to play my role in that,
Yeah,
and
or
to have a choice.
get angry about it, or bury my head in the sand.
Or whatever. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that again just is what apparently
Yeah.
happens, and not really generated by something
Yeah,
else.
but it's,
Yeah.
it's kind of
an
the world
apparent.
events are just an unfolding of whatever.
Yeah. Yes, it's an
Yeah.
apparent unfolding though.
Yeah,
But yes,
apparent in
it's never really something that unfolds.
right. It's just what it is.
So to speak. It's just what apparently happens,
Yeah,
which never really. It never really does that.
the apparent is a bit of a get out of jail card, though, isn't it? 'Cause that kind of means you don't understand it
Yes.
in a way.
Yeah, apparent can't be understood.
Yeah.
Actually, it can't be experienced. It's not an intellectual thing.
Mm.
It's exactly the apparent which can't be experienced.
Right.
You can't go there energetically, kind of. What would that mean? Yeah.
But you can't really go anywhere from where you are, can you?
Yes, exactly. But even this place of I'm here,
There's an I,
it doesn't really exist. Yeah, exactly.
because there's an I who's here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
But I wasn't here half an hour ago.
Well, you are not here now. So I agree with half an hour ago.
Good point. I think my next chess move out.
So did you just say that what apparent means that you can't experience what that is?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've always been a bit confused by the word apparent.
Well, in a way, apparent contains the whole message, but that's exactly that which can't be experienced. What that would mean.
Is that a little bit because apparent kind of means not real?
Exactly, yeah. Real and unreal.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah.
Is it real and unreal in the sense that, you know, when you speakers explain that this is all there is, no boundaries, no distance, therefore there's no time, so everything simultaneously arising and falling. So the way that it looks solid to the human energy, when the whale is not there, it is just one apparent happening there.
Yes, so to speak, yes, but in the end for no one. So there is no one even experiencing this one happening to
This
be
blackness, as it is emptiness.
there. Yes.
You can't speak us out, you know, you can just say it.
Yeah.
It's blackness. It's empty. Empty and full. For
Exactly.
fullness what we see, empty side that we don't.
Yeah, it's both. Well, what happens is empty and full. But the thing is, there's just no one there who experiences this. There's no experiencer.
No location. Is that
No
true? Or is it
location, no real awareness. Yes. I mean, this was real and unreal. It's funny because it doesn't really say anything. It's actually trying to describe how sitting in a room is without there being someone confirming it. The person would constantly confirm, yeah, this is happening, this is real, I'm here to see it, I'm here to experience it, and this confirms that this happens. But how is sitting in a room without there being someone experiencing it? That's what this real and unreal somehow...
That's the mystery of it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Andreas, I actually hate the emptiness of no one being able to experience this.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But I thought I wanted this.
Yeah, that's what... yeah. But that was before.
What am I doing here? Like, I really don't want... Like, I was sitting in a restaurant earlier, and there were times when it was like, oh, this is nice, I'm having a break from being at home, and there was times when it was just what was happening with no one experiencing it, and it was back and forth when I was eating. And when I was coming back, I was thinking, I don't want to not be there experiencing nice food
That's
and having a good experience. I don't want that.
Yes, of
And I
course.
thought, what the hell am I doing in Brighton coming to see you?
Yeah, you don't want that. That's true.
Why am I here talking to you?
Well, you're not.
Thank you. Maybe if someone else says it.
Apparently.
Would you say as a story that because life is too unbearable, that's what led me here?
No. No. It's unbearable. Anyway,
No, it's not unbearable when there's no one experiencing it, is there?
yes, but then there's also no life anymore.
Because I think the reason I'm here is because last weekend I had severe depression, like horrendous, for 3 days. And like, I don't know if I was going to make it through that weekend. Obviously I'm still, well, I think I'm still here. And then I thought, well, what can I do if nothing will satisfy me anymore? And I thought, well, I've got to come and see Andreas in Brighton. That'll help. That's why I think I'm here.
Yeah. That's the dream. That you are here is the dream.
I love this for some reason. And I can't work out why.
Yes. Yes, it's this I which isn't real. So. Yeah. No. It is.
question been asked a million times, and I heard the answer a million times, so I'm going to ask again. Can you just talk about this is all there is? There's nothing inside and nothing outside of this.
Well, yeah, that's just the natural reality. That's just how it naturally is. The thing is that it is like that for no one. Or one has to turn it around. All the assumptions that there is something in there, that it happens for a reason, that it contains a value or stuff like that, that only happens for this illusion of I am.
You know how I take it, in a way that whatever the senses perceiving, that is the reality of this location. Okay.
Mm.
So anything that I can't perceive it, not necessarily I, but it's here, with the senses, doesn't exist. Like someone that, leaves the room, they're not there.
Yes.
When I speak to my mum on the phone, she's just the voice on the phone.
Yeah.
There's nothing outside of it.
Yes.
So that's how I look at it. There's nothing outside of this room.
Yes.
I just want you to
What's
say okay or not okay. Yes, it is.
Well, but that's the dream, basically. That there is something, and there is something which is not. So, again, you make... that's the person's experience, actually. All there is what I experience, and the rest doesn't exist. But what this message is saying is that this experience of this moment already isn't real. So there is nothing which can say, well, this exists.
This is just perceived, not necessarily exist. I know it's just a dream and nothing,
Yeah, the thing is, what actually is the illusion is that there is something sitting behind the senses, experiencing through the senses. That's the only illusion.
Mm.
So apparently sitting here and sensing stuff just is what apparently happens. That's all there is.
It couldn't be any other way because of, there's a separation here, so...
And when there is the sense of separation, there is this, this is real. I experience this from this position, and what I experience is real. And then there is a discrimination between what's here and what's not here. And something that is within my experience and something that's outside of my experience.
This message has been heard and you're just trying to work it out, just unavoidable.
Yeah, that's true. Mm.
You can't forget it either. It's like you
This
can't...
message, that's a bit mean.
You just heard it and that's it, it ruins your life.
That's true. So, yes.
Andreas, you have no problem with anything we ask or what opinion we have of this message or anything?
Mm. Oh, yes. I don't have a problem. Oh, no.
That's kind of what I can sense when I was talking to you, that there's just no denial that something, whatever comes out, should come out or not.
Yeah. There's nothing there which could stop anything.
No, but I was going to say that's a cool position to be in, but you might refute that.
Mm.
But there's no longer a resistance of whatever happens in the personal way of needing it to be, one way or another.
Yeah, one could say so, yes. Yeah.
Is that because it's not connected to a story of the consequence that it would have?
No, because there's just no one there. There's just... Resistance doesn't exist. Really.
But I feel like in the me dream, things are resisted out of a need for what consequence or how that could affect something later.
No, it's actually instantly resisted just by saying this isn't whole.
But sometimes I think things are wholeness, like when things are going well.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with what we talk about here. It's just you having a nice experience.
But if I'm having a nice experience, I'm not resisting what's happening.
Well, you still do, kind of.
Well, because I need it to stay like that
For
tomorrow.
example, because there's immediately a story attached to it, why it is whole. So then you would call it whole because it feels nice. So it's already processed and it's already whole because of something. It's already then it's not unconditionally whole anymore. You think it's whole because it feels good.
You know how quickly these responses come, and it's bang on, like just so articulate and precise, like no extra fluff. It's just. Is that because it's coming out of? There's no me filtering.
Yeah, I'm perfect.
That's
basically
so that
what it
break,
comes
so
out.
that, so that break was like that
Yeah,
before.
I'm pure perfection. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm not going to go and see Jim then next month if I know you're the ring.
Yeah.
No need.
You don't need to.
It's bang on though, like whatever I say, it's just bang.
Yeah, of course, only. Yeah. There is no one.
There or here. Or just in general.
Yeah, let's put it in general. And there, and here, and yeah. Can always say that.
Yes, and there's no difference between you being here and you like doing your daily, whatever, like sitting in a restaurant or anything else. Your
Yes.
daily life.
Yeah, it's equally whole and complete. Yeah, in that sense, it's always the same.
Yeah. So the expectation of me that we are here and something needs to change is the cause, like there's no need for a cause for this to change.
Exactly, yes. There is no need for this change that the person is looking for. Yeah.
So you're not expecting a cause for to happen.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't. I don't expect anything actually.
This is already a lot. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's what the person would experience. I'm here, and I'm waiting for a change. That something. Somehow I get something or I change. But this never happens really. So it's just timelessly this. Nothing will happen. Absolutely nothing will happen. In terms of...
It's the same as like William was saying, sitting in the restaurant or you eating the food or it's just stuck in my question. Like there is the assumption that even though I know intellectually, well, yes, this or there's an assumption.
Exactly.
Oh.
Because it's not really a conceptual thing. For the person, it just really feels like that. I'm here, and I'm somehow on a path towards fulfillment. And something needs to happen. It's like an underlying feeling. It's not even conscious in that sense. It just feels like that. I'm here for something. I'm alive for something. You can say it in general or in this situation. Well, I'm here. Something needs to happen somehow. And all of that isn't really conceptual. It just feels like that. And the person can't really get rid of that because it is that feeling.
But the person thinks that's its control, rather than the person thinks they're sensical, but in actuality, it's
There is no one.
so the sense that we make, like going here and there and making a decision to come here and all that.
It's all dreamt. You mean the
It's
sense?
all dreamt, yeah. So the intellectual decision that is made to,
It's just inventing a story.
that's the story.
Yeah. It's, in a way, that's a method already to feel good. To just invent a story. Why this is happening. Why I'm here. What this is for. So when I know why I'm here, I can at least relax a bit. But that's all made up.
Andreas, what's amazing about this is you can sit here and just go on and on and on asking questions and getting responses, and it doesn't lead anywhere.
Anywhere, no. That's how it is. And that's what apparently happens. As long as there is someone, there will be asking, there will be seeking without getting an answer.
But things do come out of this, like,
No. No.
there's just what's happened. So it's uncaused, the apparent reactions.
This is uncaused. Oh, totally. This is uncaused. It will never lead anywhere. And as I say, apparently, it'll just go on forever.
It's great. I could sit in this meeting forever.
Well, yeah.
Whatever energy this is,
Well,
whatever energy this
It
is.
scares me a bit.
Whatever energy this is, like, whatever you call this energy, we call it boundlessness, let's just say. Because a lot of the conversations I've had recently with Tony, we talk about like the energy of intention meeting the energy of boundlessness, and it can lose some of its sharp edges, he kind of talks about. And it almost is like a melting into boundlessness.
Yes. What do you mean with almost?
Well, I'm fully melting into
Well, it's almost
boundlessness.
there.
I'm
Sorry,
fully.
I get it.
I said to Jim when he was here a few years ago, I said to him, I said, what you said with him, I said, whenever anybody says anything to you, you get it immediately. And he flippantly said, well, it's easy when you lose the ego. But it's more than ego, isn't it?
It's,
More than ego.
well, it depends on what you mean with the ego, but
Would you be
the
able
sense
to,
of
would you be able to distinguish for me what that means, ego, in this context?
Well, the question would rather be, what does it mean for you? What would you regard as the ego?
Well, I think that different people see it different ways.
Exactly, that's
And
right.
I'm sensing it's more than loss of ego.
Well, I would say the ego is the sense of I am, the sense that
Okay.
there is someone.
Okay.
And of course, when there is no one there anymore,
Yeah.
it is easy. Everything is easy then, because everything is just happening by itself, and you can't make it wrong because it doesn't have a goal anymore.
They're not this. So if that apparent awakening, when it happens, it doesn't happen to
Yes.
anyone.
Yes.
So it will be the total death, whether the body death or somehow. I just think that if that apparent awakening that we were talking about is part of the dream, part of the illusion, if it were to happen, it will be just total blackness, total death, isn't it?
Well, the death actually is that it turns out that there's just no one alive in the first place.
Okay, yeah.
It's not. It's not really that afterwards something completely different happens. It was just a dream that there is someone there or here now experiencing something.
Because from here we look, Andreas, the veil is lifted, but still there's a man sitting there, there's a family,
Well, but only
carries on with
apparently.
the life. You know, but he's not there, therefore he doesn't suffer, so I want that as well.
Exactly, yeah, but the person subtly will turn it into something that I have or that happens here. But there is not the experience or the impression that there is something going on. Honestly. It's not that the illusion of me dropped and now something is going on in my life or having a family or stuff. It's not going on. It does not exist.
That's
And-
what I mean.
Yeah,
that's
and
what
the
just
the only
way-
thing which would still have the impression that it goes on is that which looks at it. Andreas, but I see you sitting there and you are talking, so something is going on still.
And I want that.
No, not really. Nothing, or this whole impression that something is going on only is the me, or happens for the me and is the me.
That's what awakening will never happen to me.
Exactly, yes. And that's the funny thing, it can't be explained. On the one hand, it is the end of that, but there isn't someone left for whom it has ended. And this can't be explained.
But you're saying something isn't happening, but you're saying something is apparently happening. That's what you'd say, right?
That's, yeah,
But it's still weird.
but it's the same thing actually.
Yeah.
Both cannot be understood. Both is equally ungraspable. Because the mean thing is when I say it's apparently happening, the person is always sticking to the happening.
Mm.
Apparently is more like a description of how it is happening.
Yeah.
But for the person, it's happening. Yeah, apparently, I know, but it doesn't really get apparently happening.
So okay. So you're kind of when you're saying nothing's happening, it's because there's no point of reference, and because it's not real. You know.
There is no.
It's just this mystery, and you can't really say much about it. So
Yeah, but that's too much already.
That's too
because
much.
Because there isn't really a mystery even. This whole impression of I'm here and I'm somehow looking out there, sensing, that is the dream.
but even okay, but then something is apparently happening. There's apparent change. You know, the sun apparently
But
arises.
for no one.
But for no one, right, okay.
Which means that there's no one there who could say, yeah, but the sun is apparently rising. That's the thing, it doesn't make any sense. This statement is an absolute non-statement,
But you would say the sun is rising.
which would be inexperienced and unknown.
Which would be unexperienced and unknown.
The saying of, oh, the sun is rising,
Yeah.
is in itself inexperienced.
Inexperienced.
Oh, totally.
So it's not, you're saying, yeah, so you would say that there's a...
The saying of that would just be what apparently
It
happens,
Right,
but for no one.
yeah.
So
Because the
the-
sun
so-
anyway, is
Did
that-
you use the word inexperienced there?
Yes.
So you're saying it's not an experience, there's no experience of the sun, it's just, okay, so the saying that the sun is rising is just what's happening as well as the sun apparently rising.
Rising.
There's no,
No
sort of
separate-
hierarchy between those two concepts.
Exactly,
right,
there
okay.
isn't anything which is closer to me, there isn't anything which is me
Yeah,
and
okay.
not me and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
I kind of want to say I see what you mean, but yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from.
So there's no hierarchy between different, what the me would describe as experiences. So for example, the sun rising, we would describe it for me as being beautiful. But actually, if there's no experience, there's no difference between that
Exactly.
and a flood coming down the road.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
It's just what apparently happens, but
Yeah.
for no one.
Yeah.
So there isn't also someone saying to oneself,
No.
that's just what apparently happens. No, it just is
Okay.
exactly what it is.
So, yeah, I like the idea of mystery, but anyway, that's probably just the way my mind went. But so, yeah, if I say the sun is rising, if I think the sun is rising, or if the sun rises, they're just three apparent things. There's no point of, they're just what apparently happens, right? There's no, they're not kind of validating any sort of being or non-being. They're just what apparently happens. I don't know if I'm explaining.
Yeah, but
it very
for
well.
no one.
But
That's
for-
the
but
thing.
Absolutely for
That's
no
the
one.
thing. There is no kind of validation at all. There is nothing there which could confirm their existence,
Yeah.
nor is there anything there which could say they don't exist.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay.
There's no one that can know.
anything.
But
But by actually not experiencing even. It's not just not knowing intellectually, there's just no one there to experience it as something in the first.
Andreas, but doesn't the question if there like is or isn't something happening confirm that there is some kind of here-ness or some kind of presence?
Totally. That's why this question already doesn't happen.
Say it again. Got lost.
Sitting in a room in Brighton doesn't even know that it is. It doesn't only know what it is, it doesn't even know if it is or not.
So that question doesn't even arise because
Of course not.
We just talked about that. Yeah.
No.
And then when there is the question, yeah, when there is the question, if there is or isn't, then that can obviously create the question, if it's real, if it's not real, is it happening, is it not happening? But that question doesn't even arise, then you
Absolutely.
can't say, obviously,
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing
Yeah.
which would have that question would be the dream. I'm here and I'm looking out in the world asking myself, does this exist or not? But this question already happens in existence. I'm here. And are we sitting in a room or not? But
That's
this
really
first
bizarre.
question is dreamt already.
wow, that's crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
So in a place of only relativity doesn't exist. Like, for example, in the last 2 years, people have started walking a lot, you know, to keep all separate. And they've talked about the wonder of being out in the country walking. But there's no relativity, and that's just what is. That's just what's happening.
Yes, and it's totally.
And it's not sort of better than sitting in a house. It's sort of like, it's just what's happening.
Absolutely.
If you choose, well, you don't even choose, do you? But if walking occurs, but that doesn't make it any better than sitting in a chair.
Exactly. Yes. In terms of me becoming a more fulfilled me.
Yeah.
And that's what the person's constantly, this is better. Is it better for me to take a walk or to stay?
I've suddenly discovered walking in the country makes me better.
Exactly. Yeah. Of course.
Just following that, can you talk about movement?
Movement. Hardly, because there is no real movement.
Yeah, that's just
Mm.
talk about it.
Yes.
No movement.
No movement, no. No.
Just the apparent dream. Dream is a movement. It's like,
So to
Yeah.
speak, the thing is
Came
that
over.
it just feels like that for the person. Movement is like something going on. So in the personal experience there are those two aspects. On the one hand, I'm here, and that's kind of quite solid. But on the other hand, this is moving on. That this moment is moving on into the future. That there is a real happening in time.
because the body is moving, you know, going
Yeah,
from.
but no one knows
apparently
that
from-
really. No one knows that the body is moving. That's the funny thing.
Mm.
The only thing experiencing the body moving on is the sense of I am in the body. The body doesn't experience itself moving. The body's just apparently moving. But the only thing which feels there is something happening, again, is only self-consciousness.
Where does the word?
It's amazing. It's really amazing. And that just boop. No one could confirm anymore that there is a moving body.
So the word apparently doesn't exist in this in present no me.
Well, nothing exists.
So apparently just is redundant. That word.
That word, exactly, apparently would be the natural reality, but no one would know.
You can only use the word apparently from the sense of having a me.
Well, kind of. Or the person would hope
Yeah.
that it's used in order to describe something that's real. Sorry.
About movement, I remember many years ago reading a book about Zen master Huang, I think he was.
I am
meditating in the
Huang.
forest, yeah. And he went to take a pee and he was taking pee and he saw that his urine doesn't move. And then looked around and nothing moved. All the universe, nothing moves.
Yeah, nothing's really happening. I mean, usually this is replaced with the concept of everything still, which would again be not really what this message is saying, but yeah, movement isn't real. This doesn't lead anywhere. It's not really moving.
Andreas, but we started this meeting a certain
No.
amount of time.
I did.
A certain amount of time ago. I don't know how long it's been. 20 minutes, 10 minutes, half. It's like, I can't even tell what's going on now because it's like bizarre. But if this meeting's gone on a certain length of time, has it?
What?
Has this meeting gone on a certain length of time?
Well, there is no meeting actually. What are you talking about?
Where am I?
If this meeting has gone on for a certain length of time,
Yeah.
at the start, when you were first talking, I felt like I was able to grasp what you were saying. Now it's just too bizarre to get at any of it.
Yeah, I don't suggest to listen.
I am fixated though by just, I can't believe, like, you're saying all of this. But at the same time, what's worrying for me is, it's almost, I know it's not about belief, but it's almost more believable just sitting there, because, you know, like, if I'm on my own or with people who aren't into this, I could entertain a lot of the other notions, like there's a God who created the earth, and I'm not necessarily religious, but I can still entertain certain, or just any kind of theory.
Well,
come up
that's
with.
what you constantly do anyway. Entertain some story, some truth. When there is a person, the person is constantly entertaining some idea, some truth, making up some story on how it is, and yeah, of course.
But when I'm sitting here, it's almost becoming more and more like, oh, like it could be how you're saying.
Mm. Yeah, well, it is like that. Yeah.
But what you said earlier about like when the, well, you didn't use the word when the me drops, but effectively when the me drops, there wasn't ever anyone there. I can almost go along with the I still don't believe the me can drop. I think there's a real me, and I don't believe it can drop. But I could almost not argue with that. But the idea that then there wasn't someone in the first place,
Mm.
I don't know, it's just a bit strange.
You draw the line there.
Mm. Yeah, can't go there.
Because I think
For the person, there's always will be something left that isn't logical or that doesn't fit.
yeah. So logic's only needed by the person anyway.
Again?
The logic's only needed by the person
Oh
anyway.
yeah, of course.
So when there's nothing happening, there doesn't need to have been something that led
Oh,
to
not
that.
at all. Yeah. Well, there's no logic anymore. Nothing is logical.
How come this illusion of the I is so kind of universal? Because there's only a few people hanging about who claim it's not, but 99.99% of the people you bang into for your whole life
Well,
would think, what the hell is he talking about? But you see what I mean? So but obviously some of us have an interest in it, but it just seems to be that the vast majority are not in that space, apparent or otherwise.
I have no idea. It's just
Yeah.
what apparently happens.
Yeah.
There's no.
It just seems that there's an interest in it for centuries or whatever.
Mm.
And it seems a bit elusive, something you might want to get towards.
Well,
But it's not like certain things like we can say, well, 10% of the population get that, or it's
Yeah, but
virtually unheard of, isn't it?
yeah, totally. But I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like that. It's just what seems to be happening.
Yeah,
really.
it just seems.
But in a very funny way, it's not just a thought popped up. It's not as universal as the person thinks, because in the end, nothing except humans have that. So nothing here has this sense of I am. So it's
Say
not.
that again
It's
slowly.
not.
Say that.
Well, nothing except humans seem to have that. So it's not as universal as the person thinks.
Yeah.
But
But how do we know animals don't have it? I know some people say, well, the animals' brains aren't
that's
split
right. We don't know
up.
that.
They are sophisticated. Maybe a lot of animals are far more sophisticated than us, because we humans don't act in a massively sophisticated way.
Well, I would say there is one simple hint. They don't have religion.
They don't have wars either, do they?
They have wars.
They're not
and
massacres. They don't kill for the hell of it. Do they? They don't kill for beliefs. They kill because they want to eat something.
yeah, I mean, cats kill for fun at least.
Yeah.
They can kill for fun.
Only because they've been domesticated.
But
Yeah, wild cats. Yeah, but on the Serengeti, the lions don't eat all the zebras, do they? They eat the zebras they need to survive.
But sometimes they kill for territory as well, don't they?
But a fox will
Scale
kill
us
20
humans
chickens,
do it.
right?
again,
No,
A
they're
fox will
not.
kill. A fox will
Well,
kill 20 chickens, right? It doesn't want to eat 20 chickens. Doesn't mean.
I think there's
But
just
they
nothing
haven't-
metaphysical going
If our
on.
wars were limited to killing people by hand, they would be a lot worse than killing them with sophisticated weapons, wouldn't they? So, yeah, fair enough, let's go and kill some people, but there's only so much damage you can do, whereas with a weapon you can do a load of damage. But apart from humans, they don't seem to have developed sophisticated weapons, have they?
Well, yeah, but for me, this wouldn't have anything to do with the sense of I am.
No, sorry, no, we
It's
kind of
just-
digress a bit, but it
Yeah.
comes a bit to, with animals, are they sophisticated enough or not? Maybe they're more sophisticated because they do live in a bit more harmony than we appear to. So maybe our sophistication isn't really
Well,
That's right.
the dream would be that we left harmony,
yeah.
and that what happens, including this apparent illusion of I am, isn't harmony.
Well, yeah, okay.
Because in the end, that's
Yeah,
when this
that's
message
disharmony.
this is harmony,
It's all part of the mess.
so to speak. Yeah,
Apparently find ourselves in.
yeah. The person would call it a mess because it can't access that it is the wholeness actually. But I know what you mean.
Yeah. But it's like the concept of a neutral universe, isn't it? It's all contained within whatever. So yeah.
You say, when the conversation in meetings like that start going on, talking about the universe and the people and, God knows how many million, I'm just thinking, expecting for you to say, there's no universe, there are no others.
Of course.
Because one of the meetings, like before the Zoom meetings, I was watching on YouTube. I don't want to give the speaker's name, but one of the person in the meeting, he was saying, because he was saying, is it a dream? Is this a shared dream? And he said, no. One dream, one dreamer, and it's over there. So what do you say to that? Just one dreamer, one location, the perceiving all?
Well, in the end, there is no dreamer at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
No dreamer, but if we just talk about the dream part of it.
But for the person,
is
it would always be an individual dream. I'm here and I'm experiencing something.
Mm.
And some people would say the dream is shared because so many people would say, I'm here and I'm experiencing
I would
something.
just, but I wouldn't know what William is like perceiving. For me, like, it's not there.
No. But that is the dream. That there is a
Yeah.
dream. An individual one or a shared one.
So oneness is one wholeness.
Exactly, it's undivided.
Undivided.
Yes. There are no objects, there are no parts here. It's totally undivided.
So the illusion's only real for itself.
Only. Nothing else takes notice of there being an I, or an I illusion even.
Feels a bit lonely.
That's the funny thing. I experience myself is an illusion.
Mm.
It doesn't happen.
Andreas, but when you have two...
And
Sorry.
well, and actually for itself it's not an illusion. For itself it feels real, so to speak.
I remember something you wrote actually. It says that the fact that me, I am whatever, is an illusion doesn't mean that it exists as an illusion. It means
Exactly.
it doesn't exist in the first place.
Exactly.
Which are two different things.
Totally.
Because you can take comfort in the third one. You've got somewhere to be, and okay. But the fact is, well, you can't get your head around the fact that it's actually not
It is
happening.
not
It's just
happening
not at
right
all.
now. There is no one here.
No.
And the me would love when at least there is a me illusion going on.
That's right, because it's heart and
That
comfort.
is so comforting.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
least there is something going on, and at least we can work on that.
Mm.
And
It's
again,
like,
I
do-
can
do
know.
all that.
And again, you can know what's wrong. The me illusion.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's bad. Yeah, we have. Oh no.
yeah, it's just...
Are you saying that the me feels more comfortable having a me illusion? Is that what you're saying?
Of course, this concept of the me is an illusion, thinking that there is a real illusion going on. That's quite comforting for the person.
That's quite what?
Comforting.
What is that?
Comforting.
Comforting.
Why is
Because
it
it knows
comforting?
something. Is that why?
Because again, there is something going on
Mm.
that can be known, and it can be identified as the problem, and there is something to work on. It gives hope, and there can be a promise of you can get rid of that.
Because conceptually, you just
Yeah.
work it out, you know. You just.
But
know,
again, it's
yeah.
based on the assumption that there is something happening.
Mm.
If it is only an illusion, but at least it's something. But this is not what this message is saying. It's not saying there is a me illusion going on. It's saying there is no one.
Andreas, but when you have two bodies that feel like me or more, in that illusion of feeling like me...
That's theory already.
No, but I know other people who like...
That's the
friends and family.
dream. And you know people.
If I talk to one of my friends or family, two me's in that illusion keep reinforcing and confirming that illusion for each other to be true, don't they?
Only apparently, never really. It's not something that really happens.
Okay, I don't... Well, yeah.
Can I go back a step? I'm being very dim here. Why would having a me illusion, why would realising that me is illusion be comforting? I don't get that. I'm being very dim here. Why is that comforting, the fact that me is an illusion?
Still exist, though, don't you? You still exist.
There's an illusion.
It's my dream.
Yeah, confirms
Yeah.
separation, confirms the existence of the others and everything.
Because it still would confirm that there is something happening at least.
As an
And we
illusion.
understand it.
Yeah.
Like you have control, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well,
I'm very dim.
well,
Slow on the uptake.
of course, in the personal experience, it can be disturbing, but it would still be a disturbance that can be kind of digested and again owned as a story. Okay, me is an illusion. And
So there's what
and
you're
then you
saying
can-
is there's something comforting in the awfulness of the me.
well, it would be an apparent comforting, of course. I mean, that's in the end, that's the problem for the person, that all its comforting itself never really works,
No.
of course. But it would much more like the idea of there being a real illusion.
Let's come in from
Then
another
of-
way.
then
Let's come
of-
from another way.
yeah.
I'm not comforted at all by feeling there's a me illusion. So what's wrong with me there? That
Oh, that's it. You want to beat me?
You see, I just think I love my illusion in a way.
Do you?
know, I do.
Oh.
And I just think, why did I have to hear this message? Like,
Oh yes.
in the
Mm.
first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really never needed it. I don't need it.
Andreas, so you think? When you say when you say everything
That's what happened.
is whole and complete, I always kind of apply it to what is happening. So if it seemed like it's a situation of wholeness and completion, but I'm not sure that's how you mean it. So wholeness becomes a thing, if you know what I mean, and
Yes, that's the hope, that I can see that things are whole and complete.
yeah, like what is happening right now is whole and complete.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's in a situation of things happening is what is kind of whole. You see what I mean?
Not really.
So it kind of confirms that something is happening and it's whole and complete.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's a blind wholeness. In the end, it's whole and complete because it's not even happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not because of anything.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the glimpses? Like a lot of people talk about, in these meetings, having glimpses, Some people talk about total blackness, and some people like seeing things like appearing and disappearing, no edges, and everything softens and whatever. I know it's part of the dream, it's still a dream. I don't want to talk about my experience, but I had that total blackness
Yes.
once, and I wasn't even a seeker at the time. But when the senses came back, all I could feel that intense love. And now I just, because I didn't know, I wasn't a spiritual seeker at the time, I didn't hang on to it, I didn't know what it was, that's it. But now I just think, that's the death. But it's part of a dream, isn't it, still? Like, or is it like a peekaboo of the life?
Well, the thing is, you look at it afterwards and then you invent a story about it. But, yes, seen from the person it is death. Seen from the person liberation is death, or in a glimpse there was no one there. So, yes. But of course afterwards you turn it into something in your story, your own story.
I do it now. Now I know that people give it a name as samadhi or whatever. But that's why I sometimes go back to that feeling and just think, well, one thing not to be there is that total blackness. I'll be dead anyway, so there won't be, nothing there to know anything. So.
Yeah.
So, is it just, it's part of the dream, is it? It's not like a life or the nothingness or absolute playing a peekaboo in a way, just opening a window, you look at what is like not being there, not being me.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
What is
just having a little window and looking at that.
Yeah, one could say so, yes, one could say so. That's what a glimpse is, yes. Yeah. Just a moment when there is no one.
Okay, it's not like a made up. Okay, it's an illusion, it's a story.
It is,
nevertheless,
one could say it is what apparently happens.
Mm.
Yes, that's wholeness as that. Like holes in the illusion to be someone, and that's just what seems to be happening. It can't be used and it doesn't have any meaning, but glimpses seem to happen. Yeah. And apparently they are what they are. Holes in the sense of I am. And apparently they can have an effect in the story. Still there is no good or bad, or that it is leading someone to a better place or something, but...
Not expecting that, but it's like having a taste of it, or just having that little bit of window into what's total nothingness is.
Yeah, one could say so. That's how one could describe a glimpse.
Andreas, still though, you're saying the glimpses aren't kind of leading someone somewhere.
Yes.
But I still think if that illusion of being a person isn't happening there, but it did start when you were younger and then ended.
Yes.
So something must have led to the end of that. You know, you sometimes talk about the 2 years where you slowly fade. Something must have led to the total collapse of it.
Well, you can say both stories. You can say either nothing led to that or everything led to it. Life leads to death, so to speak. The thing is, it just has nothing to do with what the person thinks we talk about, because the person thinks we talk about something that's being gained by someone, and the death of I am just isn't that. There's just nothing left to...
Well, the story of cause and effect that I have always implies a separation. Like, you went to see Tony, there was an energy that dissolved this energy. Yeah. There has to be two. Do you get what I mean? Because I obviously I'm in and out, like I've said, and I don't know if this illusion collapses now or when the body dies, but it really feels like the reason this is going on here is because there's something outside influencing it. The sense of the me to get shakier and shakier and shakier.
Yeah, but that's
such as hearing a message.
What's the question actually?
It's not really. I'm just sharing. That it just feels to me. I don't know. It's just. I don't have a clue, to be honest.
Like apparent progress, isn't it?
It does feel like progress.
There's like apparent progress towards, you get better understanding and better...
Towards something that might be better or worse. But I think worse, to be honest. I think...
Progress?
Who wants that?
Oh, no one wants this. Oh, no.
Who wants that?
That was going through my mind so much last night in the hotel room, like obsessively. You said to me once on Zoom that what was the biggest surprise was that you didn't think your life would end in your death.
Yes.
You thought it would end in you becoming fulfilled.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I thought that something would still be happening to me. And that even in death there would be somehow the experience of an end, or where I could see the truth, or look back on my life and just have kind of a bottom line, stuff like that. But no, it was just over. There was just no one there anymore.
So in your death, there's no fear of death?
There wasn't even death.
In your death, there's no fear of death?
Oh, no. No.
There wasn't even death, you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
There wasn't even death?
Yes.
Because there was nothing alive in the first place?
On the one hand, because there was nothing alive in the first place, but on the other hand, death, the moment of death, so to speak, is just the end of being awake.
Yeah.
It's just... There is no one there anymore.
Yeah.
It's like not being able to experience falling asleep. You only experience, I'm still awake.
Yeah, so the only thing that could experience it or talk about it or die was the thing that died, the point of reference.
Yes,
so the point of reference disappeared, so what can you
but
say?
for nothing, for no one. And it's not that I'm now here or like when you fall asleep. There is nothing there saying, oh, I'm deeply sleeping and it's gorgeous. How beautifully I'm sleeping. It's just the end of the dream of being someone, which is not replaced by anything.
Did you say it's the end of the dream of being awake? Is that what I heard?
Yes, exactly.
One of the people that talk about this stuff talks about the false sense of authorship, and that almost like the moment it comes that you think, fuck, I was never doing any of this, I've got no power. And that's when you fall into the hopelessness thing. It's like a scary thing, like realising you've got no control. And it's a great thing, because it's like, well, I didn't fucking screw it all up.
Yeah, depending on how one feels.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, exactly, depending on the apparent personality, right?
Whew, I didn't do it wrong. I can't do anything. Great. But the moment you feel separate and suffering again, it's, well, but I want to do something. I need to do something.
Tony says the end of hope, doesn't he? He calls it the end of hope, which is a scary thing because most apparent people live in hope somehow. There's always, tomorrow that thing's going to give it to me. All of that. If you're a, I don't know. If you're an apparent seeker, there seem to be the miserable ones, don't we? Where they're always, not content. Nothing really does it.
Yeah.
There's always living in hope, isn't there?
Only.
Only
Everyone
lives in
in hope. Hope for after work, hope for the next
It's always the
cigarette,
next
hope
thing.
for the coffee, for the weekend, exactly. And it's always connected to this. When I'm there, I can.
When I'm on holiday, when I retire, when I get the next car.
When I'll be enlightened, that's just.
The next one, yeah, that's the big one.
That's just the big one, but for most people, it's just in daily life. When I get this, when this happens.
Just want to experience being there, experience being awakened, experience. Just
Yeah,
the energy just wants to,
Would you say me is hope? I've heard that said before.
Yeah,
Kind of.
It's already I mean, to be without hope would just feel very unbearable. So actually, hope is already an invention to make one's own presence feel better.
Yeah, right.
To make it more bearable.
Yeah, okay.
So to just be here for no reason, it's very painful for the me, apparently. But when it can hope that it leads to somewhere, then I can be here. I can bear this moment. As long as I can believe that it leads somewhere, which is hope.
It hurts a little bit less when you're on the movement. When you travel and you give them, the life hurts a little bit less when you're moving and you're doing something. That's the hope.
That it leads somewhere.
Even when you're driving, even when you're cycling, you're doing something, and the sitting and doing nothing is the most unbearable.
So to speak, yes.
So when the me disappears or whatever, is it okay to say that human nature remains?
Well, in the end it turns out that there is no human nature, but what remains is the natural reality. And this includes this
The senses.
happening. Senses, feelings, thoughts, functioning senses, full on, total. That's what apparently happens. Yeah, and there is no taking oneself back or trying to work it out. And there is no need to express oneself. There's just full on a functioning body. Like there's full on a ground and walls and
brain.
And brain.
Well, you don't know that anyway.
Oh no, of course not. No, it's totally inexperienced.
You just see the leg moving and
I
you
don't
just
see the leg moving.
you don't
There's
even
just moving.
The leg moves. The leg apparently moves.
Yeah, because no one knows that it is moving. There's no confirmation of, the leg is moving, I see
The
it.
seeing of it though,
Is also what apparently happens.
the seeing of the leg moving.
Isn't separate from the leg moving.
No.
Yeah, and it is what apparently.
that's the thing that's mind blowing. That's the thing that no one can explain anyway.
Yes, because there is no one there experiencing it. You can't put yourself in that picture.
You're giving us the rest of the information. There's no you, that you can't really tell the nothingness, tell the light.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. You don't know. You wouldn't be able to explain
How it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there is no one.
Mm.
And there is no how it really is.
Mm.
But that goes back to the point of the mystery that we talked about earlier, because a leg's apparently moving, apparent vision's happening, but you can't describe why You couldn't explain why. You wouldn't say, oh, that's because there's a human being and a heart and all that. It's kind of what's happening, but it's mysterious in its nature. It's just...
I wouldn't call it
You don't like
mysterious.
mysterious,
No, I
okay.
don't like it because it's the natural reality. That's the funny thing. There is absolutely nothing mysterious about
It's
What
just-
is
this.
natural reality? What is natural reality?
No one knows.
So you're saying it's just what's happening. You're saying it's not mysterious because, I see, because if you say it's mysterious, it's almost comparing it to something that's ordered and understandable.
Well, it's
That's-
looking at it and saying, I don't understand this. But there is already no one looking at this.
So there's no, that's what I mean, there's no one to judge it as being mysterious compared to it being ordered. Because to say it's mysterious is comparative, isn't it? Because you're comparing that to, this is ordered and understanding and it works like this. To say it's mysterious, saying it's not ordered, so it's automatically
Yeah,
a
it's a
comparison.
bit like for the table being the table. There's absolutely nothing mysterious
It's
about
just a
that.
table.
It's, exactly, that's the thing.
Okay.
But
There
table
is
isn't
no
solid.
sense of this
Specialness kind of.
specialness
Yeah,
or
okay,
anything.
I sort of see what you're saying.
So sitting in a room in Brighton isn't mysterious.
But what is mysterious to us that, I'm seeing that
It's-
table solid, but you don't.
Yeah, but I'm not here.
But there it's seen as just the energy, just
No, it's seen as a table apparently.
you see the
So if I say to you, so then if the, okay, the question is, you're saying it's a table, and I say, well, why is it the table? You'll say, what do you then say? It's just what's happening.
Oh no, I never say anything.
Okay, you're not there, but
Honestly,
Okay, so
I'm not addressed. I
Okay.
don't feel addressed at all.
it's just what comes. Okay,
Exactly.
right. So if I say, why is the table there?
is it a table?
There is never a table being experienced.
Yeah.
Not at all. Even in saying that's a nice table, there is no experience of there being a table and of me saying that this is a nice table.
I mean, how would you experience the table
I
anyway?
don't. Yeah, exactly, I don't.
Okay.
And there's no knowing what a table it even is.
We just sit.
Well, that's why it loops around. There's no knowing, and some people label that as a mystery. When you
Yeah.
don't know something, they call it mysterious.
But that's why I say it's not only that there is no knowing that this is a table, there is not even an experience of there being something in the first place.
Yeah. Okay.
That is what unknowing means.
Okay.
The person would understand, I don't have a story about the table, but I experienced this object.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of spiritual teachings which would call this the natural reality, like pure experiencing, to see the table without story or whatever. But actually there is not even an experience of there being a table or something.
There's just what's happening, what's arising
But for no one.
For no
So
one, yeah.
no one knows this.
for no one.
There isn't also anything saying, okay, this is just what arises. No,
It doesn't matter whether there's a table or nothing.
or whatever. Oh yeah, of course, because the table is nothing.
Tables.
Andreas, you say there's no experience of there being a table,
Yes,
but you put the jug and the glass on the table.
which is just a miracle.
No, it's not a miracle. It's not a miracle. Because you don't just drop them in the air.
Yes, well,
I
but
didn't do it. I put
it's,
Yeah.
it's pure luck. It's not
Yeah.
because of me.
Because it's like nothing is predictable anyway,
Don't-
isn't it? It's like
There's a real table.
what's the word I'm trying to think? It's chaos. Like nothing is really orderly, is it?
Yes,
Just it's in the dream that things are orderly,
yes.
but otherwise it just
I mean, the chaos actually is that there aren't even things.
they're not in the negative term.
That
either
there
as well,
aren't
but-
even things. That's the chaos.
That's real chaos.
Well, but the oneness, right? There aren't things. It's just Yeah, you can't describe it. See, that's
Yes.
okay.
Isn't that?
So there can't be things, can there?
There aren't things.
There aren't things.
There is no reality to be described. There is
Yes,
nothing.
because to say there's a reality means something's experienced, something is real. So language automatically is dualistic, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So wouldn't some sort of in the past or throughout history that would be a reference to God, maybe?
What?
Oneness.
What Chris just
Oneness.
described, that's what's happening. That's God.
Yeah, one could say so. But of course, for me, it's again something that's over there.
Yeah.
God, fulfillment, holiness is always over there.
Well, in Islam, I'm not an expert here, but they say there's no images or reference or naming of God because you limit it, so it's seen as an insult. It's more of it's an interesting idea, isn't it?
Well, I think in Christianity, isn't this the first of the, there are those 10...
10 Commandments.
I think, isn't it the first one even? Don't make a picture, or number 3, don't make a picture of God or something?
Isn't it, yeah, don't worship false idols or something like that.
Don't worship false idols.
Yeah, but then we...
Yeah, it's a nice idea, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, yes. But for the person, again, there is the impression that there is a God or a higher energy or a deeper reality or higher intelligence that's separate from me.
Mhm.
And yeah, it maybe sounds wise to not make a picture of it, but the person still would have the impression that it's there.
Mhm.
Or it's within the things, but again...
It's still separative. There's still dualistic, separative concepts all around it, yeah.
Exactly, yes.
It's the ultimate joke, isn't it, really?
Well, yeah. I mean, no one gets it.
Well,
I also think it's some kind of like specialness, you just think the nothingness, absolute God, whatever you call it, is talking to me.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm sorry.
Some transmission, please.
No.
Joking, I've done that with a guru.
Yeah, exactly.
The transmission.
Andreas, but if there aren't even things,
Yes.
the brain still understands like laws of science and stuff.
Only apparently. Never really. It's only apparent understanding. The brain never really understands.
Right. Okay.
Understanding is relative of its own nature, isn't it? So you can't. The
Well,
brain can't understand, can it? Really?
Well, yeah, there is no reality that could be understood. That's the thing.
And I think the brain understanding is a form of control.
No,
Like-
the brain understanding is just what happens. It's just a person trying to use understanding to control. Well, understanding doesn't control, it's just what happens.
So understanding is just something that happens automatically, but my need for control is about becoming fulfilled.
And that's what I mean. The person thinks that understanding is real, and that it can use understanding to control its path to fulfillment.
So when there's
That's the dream.
when there's no sense of something missing, like on fulfillment,
Yeah.
there's not a need for control
Not at all.
or using understanding in that way to get some.
Yeah, of course. Nothing is used.
I can't.
Yeah,
I've said this to you so many times. I can't believe the sense of unfulfillment just goes completely. There's no unfulfillment there for the last how many years.
Yeah, and there, and and there.
That was a good answer.
Let's have a break.
Yeah. Tea.
Thank you.
Thank you.